Party on, David.
Party on, Chad.
Welcome to the show, dude.
Yeah, episode 3
Episode 3.
on March 20th, 2025. I can't believe it's 2025 already.
I can.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it goes by quick.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, I got something new to add to the show. We haven't really done this. Outside of work, name 4 things that you got done this week. Extracurricular, as you will.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
Yep, let's hear it.
Let's see. I've been pretty out lazy. This might be hard. No, I've been I'm doing my regular exercises. Went to work and crushed it, of course, like I should. Like any person that's been working at their job for a while should.
Okay, well, that one doesn't count because, like I said, besides work.
All but besides work.
You are correct, sir.
Stipulations, okay. I hung out with my good buddy, and we mixed up a really cool song yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
Yep. Turned out really nice. The guitar tracks were really crisp and crunchy, and I like that.
Might see it this show, might not.
Let's see, what else did I do? Did a lot of research today.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. It's
Let's
never
see,
bad.
what have I done this week? Man, I've been lazy, quite honestly.
Okay, well, I mean, you could do something now. You could make the first move, because I'd assume you are white.
All right, yeah. So I challenged Chad to a chess game last podcast. So here we are.
That is true.
And we're doing it. All right.
And while you're making your move, think of what you've done. What else? Give me one more thing.
I don't know. I fiddle around in this garage enough. I keep on like Tetrising stuff around, and only there's just no more room. It's just really just putting it here or putting it there.
That is true.
Yeah.
You're trying to put 20 pounds of shit in a 10-pound sack.
Yep. It's rough sometimes.
No, we need to get you a storage unit. We need to move 1 or 2 loads out of this thing. Take it to the storage unit and get it out of your way.
That's right. My man cave needs to shrink it in too much. I need a little bit more.
Excuse me.
So
I believe you misgendered the Bat Cave. Start again. Thank you.
Bat cave. Yep.
Correct, sir.
For real. Yeah, but anyways.
That's what you got done this week.
Well, I mean, it's only Thursday, Chad.
Precisely. Yeah, I feel like I got that much done on Monday.
During the weekdays, I'm lazy. Like, I don't do a whole lot. I fiddle around the house. I'll do some work in the backyard, do some work in the front yard.
Okay.
Play a lot of guitar.
Essentials.
Yep.
Okay. There you
Chad.
go. There he goes. Now he's getting it.
Bankowski.
Yep. What did I do?
What have you done this week? Tell me the 5 things you've done this week.
I'll tell you what, a whole lot of nada. And if that was true, I wouldn't believe me.
Yeah.
But anyways, well, as you know, one of the kids wrecked the van this week. So I taught her an invaluable lesson of how to change the tires because the tires were brand new.
No,
so
really?
I went and got 4 spares from the junkyard, $60, brought them back, put those on, letting the insurance total it out. So taught a kid something today. Well, not today, but get it this week.
Yeah. Was she enthused into it?
Yeah, she was. Yep, she was. She was glad to learn it. And she saw that, oh, okay, this takes a little bit of know-how so a car doesn't fall on you, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's an important skill for a young driver.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want to be trying and make a potentially fatal mistake, right?
Possibly, yep.
Yeah. Just because you're trying to change a tire.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I did that, helped the kid. I also picked up some cheap building materials. I have a build coming up in North Idaho soon, so I wanted some nails, some Tyvek, whatever I can get for cheap. Got that. Let's see. I got my first tablet ever. First ever.
Oh, yeah?
How long have tablets been out?
What kind of tablet?
Yeah, Samsung.
Oh, well, it's
not that I'm sponsoring them, but
that's not an iPad. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that is correct because I'm not an iKid. Yep, correct.
There could be only one.
Mm-hmm. So they say. That's what happened with the Blu-ray and the HD. Yeah, they Highlandered each other.
Yep.
Right? Okay, last thing I did was, of course, do some football and some skateboarding with the kids this week. Got them out for some physical activities.
Did you show them a kickflip?
Well, I can do the kickflip. They cannot.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
It takes some practice.
Yep.
Not everyone is as talented as you are.
Well, some people are.
Yeah. Me, I could never do any ground tricks. I could do the ramps, but that's about it.
Hey, it's just fun to get on. It's just fun to get on that scat and go.
As soon as I thwack my ankles, get angry. Just like,
Not my cankles.
ah.
Yep. Get you. They'll get you if you're monkeying about. That is true. All right. Well, I mean, that brings us into movies. Let's kick off the movies. What do you got for us?
All right. So we're reviewing the movie Legend. And no, not the Will Smith Legend. All right. We're going to the ultimate legend, the 1985 fantasy movie Legend. And it was probably one of the first like really good fantasy movies. It was, I mean, it was pretty far back there. But even till today, I watch it, I'm like, wow, they were really on point. All the acting, the background, everything was just really amazing and over the top. Some of the best fantasy movie. It was one of the best fantasy movies you could ask for, even till today.
It's safe to say you enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Well, it's still your turn, but
I don't want to take you
you'll
too
be all right.
fast. All right, but anyways, 1985, April 18th is when it came out. Director Ridley Scott, and I don't know if anyone knows who that is, but yeah, I think it was one of his earliest movies. Starred Tom Cruise as Jack. He was the hero. We also had Tim Curry, and anyone knows who Tim Curry is, he's been in a countless amount of movies. The amount of movies he's had,
you could say he has a laundry list.
He has a laundry list, right? Tim Curry stars as he looks like the devil, but his name is Dark.
Oh, the
Darkness.
The Darkness, that's right.
Right. He's the Darkness, but he is the ultimate devil, and we have a cassette tape of the soundtrack, which we'll put up on a picture for you guys here in about right now. So Tim Curry, awesome. Couldn't ask for it. And like, who would imagine Tim Curry playing the ultimate devil-like character of all time? There will be no cooler devil-looking character with the big giant horns, and he scares me. And Tim Curry is not like pretty, I wouldn't say weak looking, but he's not like intimidating.
Yeah, how much did that headgear weigh?
Apparently a lot. They actually had to hollow out the horns. The first horns were like too heavy, and so they had to make other horns that were hollow, so he can maneuver his head. I even read a little story that he was having like a panic attack one time. Was ripping off the mask or whatever, and actually peeled off part of his face because it was glued on, and so he ripped off some skin.
It's heavy duty.
Oh, heavy duty for sure. All right, so yeah, Tim Curry. Mia Sara as Lily. Mia Sara was also on Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She was the girlfriend, right? So she was a good-looking gal. Let's see. And supporting actors, we only got a couple notable ones, so I don't
better get through it.
We won't carry on too far with this movie. Supporting actors, we have Bill Bartley. He was Screwball, one of the goblins, and super cool.
He was in Willow. He was in a ton of movies.
Exactly what I was going to say. He was in Willow. He's also in Masters of the Universe.
Dang right he was.
Yep. He also has.
He was Gwildor.
Gwildor. Yeah, that's right. Another one that I was surprised. I didn't even know this was Robert Picardo as Meg Knucklebones, and like I watched the movie again, and it doesn't even sound like him. He was in full voice actor mode doing that. It was amazing.
Well, they were on a lot of cocaine, so
maybe. I mean, Hollywood was
there's no maybe.
Pretty wild back then. I know it's pretty wild still. Robert Picardo. He was from Voyager. He played on Inner Space, Gremlins 2. So, all right. So let's talk about the soundtrack, which was decent soundtrack. Wasn't bad. They had some pretty solid tunes. It actually
Name it.
brought you into the story. It didn't like disconnect you from the story. It was pretty rock solid.
Was it Danny Elfman?
No, it was not. It was some German band called Tangerine Dream. And another guy, which I forget his name. I should have wrote it down, but
Yeah, you should have.
he played. But it was mostly Tangerine Dream that made most of the soundtrack. It was decent.
Did Tangerine Dream become the Scorpions?
Right? Yeah. No. That'd be interesting if it did.
Okay, well, let's carry on. What else you got about that? Because I'm not the biggest Legend fan. I didn't hate it, but as you know, I don't enjoy Tom Cruise movies unless it's like Oblivion or The Day After Tomorrow.
All right, so we're going to talk about the score really quick before we add this up. It was an excellent movie. I enjoy watching it every time. It's as far as old as it is, it carries its weight. It's very entertaining. So let's talk about our score.
Loves it.
For the story, 1 out of 10 stars. We're going to give it a. What do you think, Chad?
Out of 10,
for the story,
originality gives it at least like an 8.
An 8. I would agree with that. An 8. The special effects, the overall special effects of the movie,
For its time, 10 out of 10.
even for today, 10 out of 10.
I'd agree because it was practical.
Yeah. 10. All right. So the acting, the overall acting of all the characters, I thought
All of them?
I thought it was amazing. There wasn't a weak actor in there. I give it a 10.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be a 10.
Okay, rewatchability. Can you pick it up and watch it at any time?
Hmm.
I would say a 9.
Okay, 9 it is.
9? Okay. And soundtrack?
Well, you already ranked it. You said you loved it.
I loved it. It wasn't like a banger. I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give it.
Throw it a 7.
I'll give it a 7 because it had
Hit him with the 7s.
it had really good parts.
Okay, now you do that math real quick. What does that count up to?
Oh, don't put me on the spot.
On the spot.
Where's my calculator?
No, don't need it.
All right.
We had what, a 10?
There's 28. Fuck that. Where's my calculator?
Don't need it. Sure.
Shit.
Give me that paper.
All right.
What do we got? Go with the numbers.
All right. We got 8,
Okay.
10,
Okay.
10,
18, 28,
9,
37.
and 7.
All right. Well, that's pretty easy. 44.
Okay. We got a 44 out of 50, which that's solid.
That's not bad.
Yeah. We need to figure out a name for our rankings, right? If you get above 40 to 50, if you get 40 to 50,
I'd say 45 and up.
So
I like 45 and up.
44, we said, for this movie?
Correct, so.
Yeah, 44 out of 50.
Which isn't bad. That's not knuckle dusting.
That's good.
That's not bad.
That's decent.
There's a Big Trouble in Little China.
I forget. We actually need to keep a tally of all of our movie rankings for records.
We got them.
Yeah.
They're in there. They're in the paperwork and stuff. You know, it's in the cloud.
Yeah. Well, just to have it easily accessible, because that'd be fun to check out down the road. So, all right. So on to TVs. Chad, what have you been watching on the TV?
It's TV time.
Anything good?
Well, yeah, I started rewatching Metalocalypse.
Oh, no way.
It's the second greatest show on the world.
What's the best favorite show?
Oh, probably. I don't like to play favorites, but you know.
No. If you have a second, you have a first.
That's not true, because they're all number 2. They're all number 2.
To the number 1, right?
My favorite movie is My Life, of course, right? That's number 1. All the other made-up movies are coming in close seconds.
Yeah.
Some of them more second than others. Yeah, but definitely watching the Metalocalypse again. I just love it so much. And then, of course, the wife also gets, fiance. The fiance also gets TV time, and she chooses a show called Love is Blind. Have you heard of the show?
You were telling me about it.
Okay, well, the premise of this show is former musician, maybe still musician, I'm not sure, which is kind of a stark opposite of us because he was a boy band. Anyways, him and his wife put on a show called Love is Blind. They take contestants, and they make them talk to each other without seeing each other. And they're not supposed to talk about what they look like, but of course sometimes they do. You can't help it. Anyways, they're trying to find somebody they want to marry in a very short period of time. And, there's drama involved. Of course, the girls love it. Not my cup of tea, but anyways, I got to mention it because in the background I do watch it.
Oh yeah, I watch what my wife watches. She's been watching some.
We all
because she got the VPN. She puts it over on like Australian. She's been watching like Australia beach rescue shows, and it's kind of entertaining. It's different. You actually get to see a little bit of the different culture aspects of different countries by watching their local programming. Quite honestly,
yeah, that is true. And seeing what they get to see.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, other than TV, that's about it for me. What have you been watching?
I've been watching 1923, and they had one more episode. They really need to pick up the pace on it. It's not as... It's kind of losing me, quite honestly.
Did you watch Yellowstone?
I have not yet.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Okay.
But maybe if I had the backstory, it'd be a little bit more interesting. I'm not sure. But right now, I'm waiting for the stuff to start happening, and it's a little bit laggy. And there's a lot of slow drama going on. So, anyways, I wanted to talk about one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and you might know this one. It's
Never heard of it.
Batman the Animated Series. All right. Was released the first episode September 5th of 1992. Okay.
Mark Hamill involved?
Oh, yeah. Mark Hamill.
Not a question.
And Kevin Conroy as Batman are the best Batman Joker duo that will ever be. I'm sorry. It just, you will never get better than that. So tune in. The best Batman has been made.
Allegedly.
Yeah. And yeah. So I want to talk about that. So when we were watching that, when it was coming out, and we're youngins, having a great time. We also in 1992, we also had X-Men coming out the same year. So we were,
I believe, Gargoyles as well, right?
Oh my goodness!
Wasn't Gargoyles coming out as well?
I don't know. I did look up the cart, or just the shows were out that year, and I did not see Gargoyles.
Gargoyles was in the early 90s.
But Gargoyles didn't happen until Star Trek: The Next Generation kind of broke apart, and then a lot of those actors were in Gargoyles. A lot of them.
True that.
Yeah. Almost the entire main crew. It was pretty cool.
Okay, what else you got on TV? Nothing? You done?
All right.
Is it time to go to music?
No. Let's see. Yeah, as fed, Mark Hamill. Everyone knows who Mark Hamill is. If you don't know who Mark Hamill is,
you're not a Jedi.
I'm sorry. The opening soundtrack, the opening song was made by Danny Elfman.
What a surprise.
I mean, come on, it doesn't get any better than that. And it is still one of the best Batman tunes there is. If you hear it, you're just like, ooh, Batman. There was 22-minute episodes by Warner Brothers and Fox. They had 2 seasons and 85 episodes. All right, 2 seasons, 85 episodes. What is wrong with our TV producers today?
Oh, they want quick information.
They want 10 episodes.
At 10 minutes each.
That's
all the attention span goes. It's short right now. TikTok ruined the world.
I keep on hearing that, but I'm not believing it, because Joe Rogan still runs 3-hour, 2.5, 3-hour podcasts consistently, and people watch them all the way through. I literally watch them, not just listen.
That's because it's Joe Rogan.
But not everyone has a small attention span. Maybe
not everybody. I'm not saying you can't ever say it's not black and white, brother. You can't just always say everybody, dude. You can't think like that.
Well, I'm not even the general population. I think people have greater attention span when they're interested in something. If it's something of non-consequence, of course, your mind only wants to spend 15 seconds with it. Quite honestly, that's just the way it is.
Yep, true that. Yep, nothing we can do about that, though. We can't help other people's attention spans. There's nothing you and I can go do or say or protest to get people to try to pay attention for more than 10-second videos. Right? Just like there's not much you and I can do about politics other than bring it to the light and talk about it and, show that we see. Some others must see as well. Oh, he's going for it. Do it.
What?
Precisely. Second best move in the game, sir.
But yeah, really good year for being a kid and watching cartoons. Our Sunday morning cartoons were off the chain, right? We're rocking hard.
That is true.
We had Ninja Turtles, we had Batman, we had X-Men. No wonder we all turned out to be a bunch of Gen X warriors, right? All right. So that was all I had for TV.
Done with TV, he says. Well, are we going into music now?
Sure.
Well, let's talk about music, dude.
Okay. Well, I took some notes. I took some decent notes on some of the shows that are coming up. Some local bands, some touring bands.
Okay, let me tell you the one I'm most excited about.
Yeah, tell me.
Black Tooth Grin. It is about showtime.
That was the one I was going to talk about first.
It is about showtime, dude.
Yep, it is Saturday, March 22nd at the Knitting Factory.
Tell me the year!
Are you time traveling again, Chad?
No, I just don't know where I'm at.
You need to calm down with that flux capacitor.
Right, Doc. Chill, Doc, Mark.
Yeah, so we have Blacktooth Grin with Karen Comes Killing, and let's see, Black Marrow, A War on Me, and Cardiac Drift. It says $12 advance and $15 at the door. Again, Saturday, March 22nd at the Knit. The next one I have written down is going to be Saturday, April 5th. It's going to be the Browning, Swarm, the Defect, and Hand Me the Knife. I found a couple songs by the Browning just scanning through Amazon Music, or not Amazon Music, through Apple Music, and so I got two of their songs in. It's pretty cool. It's like electronic techno, not techno.
Oh, you hand me a knife.
So I was like, all right, that'd be a show I'd want to go see. Kind of like, they got some really heavy riffs.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one's at the Shredder on April 5th. Okay. Next one I got written down is Sunday, April 6th. We got Meshuggah. And Cannibal Corpse. No one knows who that is. And Carcass. All right. And that's
a killer lineup.
At the Revolution.
Well, I know a couple people who will probably be at that show for sure.
I know. I've seen Cannibal Corpse a bunch of times. I haven't seen Meshuggah yet.
Have seen Cannibal Corpse a bunch of times.
Yeah.
For my birthday. You remember that? They came. October 28th.
Was that on your birthday?
On my birthday.
Nice.
Oh, it was a great show, dude. Yep, we had a good time at that one.
Hell yeah.
And that was actually the second time. The time before that, they were a couple days before my birthday, but close enough. Yeah, they like October, the end of October.
You can't go wrong with the Cannibal Corpse. It's the most awesome metal there is. So,
they are by far the best. Trailed only by Cannabis Corpse.
Cannabis Corpse is great.
They rip.
Love that band.
Yep. Yeah, where are you going to go, Hooligan? What do you got? Oh, I like that move.
Yeah. Playing it easy.
Oh, let's see.
Okay.
Not see.
Oh, yeah, all right. May 20th at the Revolution, we have Cradle of Filth, which, of course, we talked about that the last
somebody
podcast.
did.
But I'm going to keep bringing it up until we go because I'm stoked and
keep
excited.
talking about
I'm so happy that they're coming.
That's how you keep stuff alive is by talking about it.
So we got Cradle of Filth on May 20th with Uada and Black Satellite. I listened to both those other bands on YouTube and they're killer. Kick-ass.
Okay.
Yep, I like
Allegedly.
it. Yep. It's going to be cool. And let's see, the last one I got is Veritas. I think that's how it's pronounced. And we have Old Machines and Ashes at Abaddon at the Mad Swede, Wednesday, April 30th. Ashes at Abaddon is
Mikey's
man.
Mm-hmm.
He drums
Yep.
for them.
Love playing shows with them.
Yep. Mikey's a longtime friend of ours. He was in
Slain in Silence.
Slain in Silence, and that's one of the
with Sammy Sharp. We just hung out with Sammy not too long ago.
one of the first bands we played with when we weren't even TMS Destroyer. I think we were what?
Maybe Brutality Through Reality or Nibiru.
Yeah, one of our early names.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay, well,
that's it. That's it on the local music and shows that I've written down.
Yeah, check this out. I heard something cool the other day, or not heard, read. Allegedly, I can't confirm nor deny because I haven't really looked into it too much. It's just something for everybody to look into if they choose to. Apparently, there was a study done with Beethoven's music. You familiar with Beethoven? Pretty much everyone is.
Yeah, I know a few songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently, Symphony Number 5 cures cancer, or starts the process of curing cancer, while unharming good, healthy cells.
I could dig it.
Yeah, it's a study that was done playing old classical music. Beethoven, to be precise.
I hear Mozart does crazy things too. I don't know. Those guys were tapped into music on a different level. They were really, really like crazy advanced musicians. Like what we think of an advanced musician nowadays isn't nothing to what those guys. They lived and breathed and slept and bathed in music. It was their life. They knew everything you could know about it.
If they had distortion back then, they would have been metal musicians.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
They would have plugged into the PV or the Line 6. They would have blasted the distortion all the way up. Oh, dude, 100%. They do, just like Ex Mortis. Exactly like Ex Mortis. They turned old symphonies into metal. Right? Yeah. Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, so beautiful. Anyways, that's about all I got for music. If you want to move to local heroes, go ahead. Yeah. Or I can. Yeah, I can talk about our local hero.
Chad, who is our local hero this week? I like this one.
Well, it's a radio station that we love. We love what they do for the community, for the music scene, as well as what they've done for themselves, because I believe they're employee-owned. I believe it's an employee-owned radio station.
I'm not sure, but that I wouldn't doubt it.
Anyways, it is KQXR 100.3 The X. We love them. We listen to them. We've been on their radio station
twice. Yeah, Septic Era twice. I've had 2 of their songs on there.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, all right. I'm kind of proud of that. Not everyone gets to be on the radio, even for just like one little song or whatever.
True that.
So yeah, 100.3 The X. They have a couple different. They have the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yes, they do.
Yep, they have Jason Drew.
Yep, I like Jason Drew. I've won a couple tickets from Jason Drew.
They have Adam.
Yep, Adam's awesome.
Ian and Randy and Liv. And they were established when they established themselves as 100.3 The X was August 25th of 1995, and I think they just celebrated their 30th year as 100.3 The X. They had to like change their name, I guess, back then because they had another station that was pretty much playing the same thing.
Yeah, whoopie daisy.
Yeah, so they had to differentiate themselves.
Hey, we know that problem.
Yeah.
Like when we wanted to be named Nibiru, but we found out that there was already a band named that.
I know. That was back when I was a little bit retarded on how to research band names. Now it's a little bit, I mean, it's not easy. Trust me, try to find a band name. Or put any 2 words together, and there's probably a band with that name. I'm serious. Just point out any 2 words in the dictionary. There's probably a band out there with that name.
Yeah, they go quick.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of people in the world.
That is true. So good luck finding an original name. It's tough.
True that. So 100.3 The X, you are definitely our local hero. We love you guys. We love what you do. We also love that you actually support and have local bands on, like you have Blacktooth Grin on. I think it's tomorrow morning on the Nick and Big J show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right.
And I think that's tomorrow that they're doing it, and Blacktooth Grin will be on Friday morning.
All right, so tomorrow Blacktooth Grin is going to be on?
I believe so.
Nice.
Yep,
That's
on the radio
awesome.
show. So that's pretty cool. That's local guys on 100.3 The X. They're not just trying to get big names.
Yeah, it's nice that they actually talk to the local crowd and
Yeah, the little guy.
and bring us in. You know, so we've done shows for them at one time with Randy, and it was amazing. There's really good pictures of that show.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah. So
always fun hanging out in the knitting factory. I love that place. Have you heard of inflation of prices? Because of the previous establishment, let's call it, everything went up in price. What do you expect? Dude, I just went to a shop. I was like, all right, well, let me know the price here, guys. And it was pretty much double of what they normally charge because of inflation. Everything's gone up in price. I mean, stuff is steadily coming back down. I will give it that. Stuff is steadily coming back down, except some cervezas I checked out. Those were still up in price, but maybe they'll come down soon.
Well, talking about inflation and prices, check this out. Everyone's been complaining about eggs, and I'm sitting here like I can't cook enough eggs. I have so many eggs, it's crazy because I have chickens. Okay.
Yeah, and they're not hard to take care of.
It's not very many chickens. Yeah, they almost take care of themselves.
They do.
Throw some food and water out there, and they're great pets.
Yeah, I think people have been disconnected so long from having to have a farm instead of a yard and having to raise livestock instead of going to the supermarket every day or every other day, that people have become so disconnected from that they actually kind of forget that even though it is an investment in time and a little bit of money and, takes some care, it's really not too difficult. It's not the hardest thing in the world to do. It's probably harder to go into a 9-to-5 job and bust your hump for $12 an hour. I like that move.
I didn't do any warm-up games, just so you know.
I don't believe you, but okay.
I kept it legit because I didn't want to just come in and like crush, because I got some pretty good chest muscles, right?
He say.
Yeah.
Good chest muscle.
Good chest muscle.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's our local hero, 100.3 The X. So let's get back into it. Let's get into them video games, dude.
Okay. Now, today, all right, we're going to talk about Super Metroid, the 1994 super badass game.
I've never played it.
Oh, man. This is one of the best games, I think, that was ever made, honestly. And maybe not everyone's into side-scroller video games, but I actually have a great love for a good side-scroller. And they call them Metroidvania games.
That's because you were a child when that was coming out.
But I played Metroid, and I played Castlevania, and I love those games, and they were really good for a long time.
Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, so they were
Ninja Turtles.
I did grow up in the age where the side-scroller games were amazing.
Were king.
Yeah, they were king. And so I wanted to talk about Super Metroid, which is one of the coolest games ever made on the Super Nintendo.
It was cool, but while you're doing that, make your play.
Okay.
I mean, it was a cool game.
All right, and so Samus Aran, he flies to the planet. I don't know if it's planet Zebes or Zebs. It doesn't really matter, I guess.
At this point, it doesn't
potato.
matter.
Okay. He goes to the planet Zebs and fights off a bunch of aliens, and most importantly is the Metroids. Now, I have been waiting for someone to get with it and make a movie out of this video game. Out of all the video games that needed to be made into a movie, this is the one. It would be easily done, too.
True that.
Yeah. And thoroughly enjoy this game. If you ever get a chance to play it, you should. And they also have a brand new...
Yeah, on Nintendo Switch.
And brand new...
I played it.
Yeah,
it was great. I played it. It was great.
It was awesome. Yep. Actually, I think they should have took it further. They should have made it bigger and really, made it huge. And maybe made different planets.
Well, you have high hopes, my friend.
Oh, I know.
You expect too much.
Give me more,
Yep.
Okay? Hire me. I will control the production for it, too. Let's do this.
Good luck.
Come on, Japan. I love Metroid. So... Metroid, 1994. It's awesome. Also in 1994, when this game was coming out, we also had Earthworm Jim,
Oh, that was a great game.
and Street Fighter 2.
Yep,
So
love both of them.
It was a good year for video gaming.
True that.
I liked it a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, but right now I'm just playing some Assassin's Creed, and it's all right. You know, it's on my Switch. I don't think it's getting the best resolution. It gets kind of laggy at times when you're really like mocking through.
I'll tell you what, Fortnite is hard on the Switch.
Is it?
100%, dude. The kids love it. It seems like, to me at least, I could be wrong, but it seems like the Switch players kind of get a little bit more aim assist than like a console,
Really?
which is kind of funny. But yeah, you could tell it's a little more laggy, a little less of an experience.
I'm really excited for the Switch 2. Probably
Has it been announced?
Yes. Yeah, it should be coming out this year, I think. I don't know the date. I should probably be on top of that, but I really...
You know what else was announced?
What?
The Mortal Kombat 2 movie.
Oh, yeah. I did see something about that.
Yep, they got Carl Urban as Johnny Cage.
I've seen pictures, and it actually looked really good.
Hell yeah, it looks good. I can't wait, dude. Yep. Also, new Starship Troopers coming out. I believe it's a movie. I don't think it's a show.
Oh, is it? Is it, though? Oh, man, I'm excited.
I'd assume it's a movie.
I hope it's not like a B-rated, like... Because they made the original Starship Troopers, which, man, that was an awesome movie. You know, I don't know how it did in the box office. I will look it up.
That doesn't matter.
We will review it because that's on the...
Yeah, that doesn't matter. It's on the list.
That's one of those epic movies that will survive forever because of how awesome it was. It is. Great movie.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, on video games, I mean, I've been playing a game called Eve Echoes.
Eve Echoes, huh?
Yep. Eve Online has been around for a long time.
What is it about?
Well, essentially, you're a clone pilot that pilots space vehicles, spaceships, battleships, cruisers, up to giant carriers that spit out smaller, space vehicles.
So is it like a flight simulator?
Not quite a simulator. More so, you are this clone, and in each station around this huge galaxy, you could store your vehicles and stuff. You pick a vehicle that you want to be in. Let's say, you're high enough tech levels 1 through 10. At 10, you could fly anything. Let's say you're a tech 10. You want to get in your battleship and go blast apart, bad guys that gives you great loot. You absolutely can. Quite a bit of fun. The kids like it. I like it. Tons of PvP in the game.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty complex, strange PvP that not many other games offer. And actually none that I could really think of that are like Eve. Eve's pretty crazy. Anyways, if you like PvP, Eve's a game for you. If World of Warcraft isn't enough for you.
Yeah.
Yep. Nerd stuff. Don't even worry about it. This is Elon Musk stuff, right?
Man, I really wish I would have got into the World of Warcraft. I love good fantasy games.
It's a great fantasy game, and the PvP is awesome.
I was always a console guy, and you were a computer guy. So
I'm both. I'm both. I love consoles and computers.
Yeah.
Yep. Always loved them both.
All right. So you have an edge on me, Chad.
Yeah, I do. What of it? Yeah. What? You want a Super Metroid right now?
Oh, bring it on.
Come on, Samus.
Yeah.
Still your move, by the way.
No, I moved, didn't I?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I moved from here to there.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You did a little swapperoonie.
All right. So that was all I had on video games.
Yeah, that's it on video games. Let's get into sports, dude.
Well, I really don't got anything in sports.
Well, you're not leading sports. I am. One championship coming up right now.
Yep.
I don't think it's a title defense, but Rod Tang is fighting, and I love Rod Tang. Rod Tang is a beast. Have you heard of Rod Tang?
No. You
have not. Okay, he's fighting Takaru. This is a kickboxing Muay Thai fight. Not quite an MMA fight, right? A little bit different. Though Demetrius Johnson, the Mighty Mouse, fought Rod Tang. Anyways, that's coming up soon. Rod Tang has a crazy record for a 27-year-old. Right? He has like 340, maybe 50 fights. He's won like 240, maybe 50 of those fights. Dude, his win number is insane, and his fight number is even more insane. Anyways, that's coming up. Definitely got to watch that. A little throwback to yesterday, March 19th, in, I think it was 2011, John Jones fought Shogun Rua for the championship. He became the youngest champ in the UFC to hold that belt. I don't know if you've watched John Jones fights. But I have,
I
love him.
I love watching John Jones fight because
he's spectacular.
He fights like I imagine I fight. I like using elbows and knees, and like all the times they're on the ground and they're not like taking advantage of the straight opportunities. I don't care if you punch or elbow a person in the arm or the leg.
Mm-hmm.
You don't.
Yeah, that don't matter.
Yeah, you just got to be striking. So there's a lot of wasted time grappling. I feel sometimes. And John Jones, he's just on it.
He is. He's a beast.
Yeah.
He uses all weapons available to him. He doesn't care whether it's an elbow, a knee, an oblique kick. He just gets down. So much so that really one of his fights was a 12-6 elbow and got in trouble for it.
All right, Chad, we come to the point where one of us is going to have to start taking a piece here now.
Yeah, and that's all right. Hold on.
Yeah.
We're still going.
It's getting the tension's getting there. Like,
yeah, it's about to build. Which one's going to get it?
Right?
Yeah, I like that concept. Well. Let's probably do. I think right here is probably the wisest. So, okay, I think we're done on my part with sports. Do you have anything else for sports? I talked about all fighting. I love fighting. I can thank my parents for putting me in Kempo karate when I was young. Gave me something to do.
No, I've been meaning to look up
the sports. Well, we know March Madness is happening soon, right? We're in March right now, so we got basketball.
We got hockey going
on. Hockey's already going on, right? Hockey's been going on. Love hockey.
And there's basketball going on right now?
Well, March Madness is happening soon.
All right, so yeah, I need to get better. I've never been a sports guy.
There's some sports that I love and some sports I can't stand. You got to distinguish. Like we talked about. Do you remember me telling you about Calcio Storico? The essentially Roman Italian sport. It's almost like football, but everybody fights, and they have the 4 different districts throughout Italy.
I remember you saying something about that.
So there's some sports that are badass and worth investing time in. Now, would I ever advise you to become a permanent football fan that only does fantasy? It's your turn now. That only does fantasy and only knows sports stats? Or should you be a well-rounded individual? Probably more likely. You haven't been paying attention at all, have you? Well, anyways, that's all we got on sports. How about you bring us into books?
So instead of talking about the books that I'm reading right now, which is kind of hard to do since you haven't read, I'm going to talk about some books that I have read.
Okay,
and maybe some of the books that I have read many times, and this is one of them.
There you go.
Okay. So tonight I'm going to talk about another Stephen King book, but he wrote
also movie.
Also movie.
Also movie. Book and movie.
He wrote this under his alter name, Richard Bachman. And it is an amazing story. I think this is one of his best works, quite honestly. And it's not like horrific, but it actually, the end is super horrible. It is. Just thinking about it makes me grind my teeth. I'm like, oh.
Hey, don't spoil it.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it if they haven't read it.
That just makes it so good. The way he finished it off. So it's about a lawyer that kills a gypsy band's their leader's wife, and he gets off, and so the gypsy puts a curse on him and like literally touches him and says thinner, and so he just starts dropping weight slowly and dropping weight, and it doesn't stop, and he figures out that you got a curse on him, and so forth and so on. It was a really, really good book. Way to go, Stephen King. This is one of his best works if you ever get a chance. The books are awesome. The movie is good. Always read the book. The books are usually way cooler if you have an imagination.
They are 100% of the time always cooler. There's never been a time that I could think where the movie has been cooler than the book. And I will tell you, on my book, it was Ender's Game. I read this book many, many years ago, right? Love Ender's Game. Ender's Game is a great book. They made it into a movie, and they put big names like Harrison Ford in it. And the movie wasn't bad, but it does not compare to the book. And the emotional attachment you have to reading that story instead of watching it.
What I like about books is you get to
Immerse.
you get the mind, the mind part of it. It's talking about what they're thinking about. You're not just seeing action. There's stuff that you can't really explain through visual and sound. Only through books where they can actually explain the mind of what's going on or the actions of what's going on.
Yep, the thoughts, the gestures, what's going on in the scene, set it up. Yep.
Yeah,
It definitely translates different from paper to film.
Yeah, so in books it does have a superior quality than just watching a movie sometimes, if the writer is good and they could describe well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, true that. All right, well, let's jump into motorsports here. It's coming up. We have the preseason test on March 30th at Firebird Raceway. I believe the first Meridian Speedway is in April.
Mm-hmm.
We have
12th, the 19th, and 26th. No, yeah,
12th, 19th, and 26th. We have a swap meet at Firebird coming up on 4/11 through 4/12. That's going to be cool. Go out and get your car parts.
Nice.
And then the opener is April 19th and 20th. Going to have some good openers there. I'm excited to go. We got to take the Chitlin because this is an important thing of society. Is like we talked about earlier with changing a tire. Vehicles are an important part of our society. Whether you're an electric vehicle, a gas vehicle, a diesel vehicle, whatever you're running.
Where'd you go, Chad? Is this still my go?
It's your go, yep.
All right, it's on.
Or actually, it might be my go. I don't know.
Wait. That's right. You haven't moved yet.
No, I think I did. I think I moved right here.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I think I moved. I think I moved a pawn last. I don't know if you moved since then.
Good.
But anyways, let's call that good on motorsports. Let's go into some politics. What do you think about our political map right now? What's your thoughts on it? What's your feelings? What have you been watching? Be careful with starting with that one. That's a dangerous one. It gets your queen involved early. I love chess. How much do you love chess? If you had to rank it right now, out of 10.
It is one of the ultimate games. I believe it's one of those life games that you should learn, just like playing a solid game of poker. Most importantly, I think Texas Hold'em. I think Texas Hold'em is the pinnacle of poker playing.
It's the most fun.
Yeah.
Most fun, at least. Chess is a lot of fun. It gets your mind going strategically, and that's proven to be pretty healthy for humans, right? It's not a bad thing to have opposition. That's how we grow. So we get stronger, get smarter. Now it's on. Now it's on. Now it's on. All right, back to politics, dude. Where are you at on politics? What are you seeing? I saw that the astronauts are back. You want to talk about that?
Let's see here.
Disengage, he says.
That's
Disengage.
Right. Retreat. Yeah, the astronauts are back. Hey,
yep.
Way to go, Elon Musk.
Dude, can you say 286 days in space? That was 4,577 times around the planet.
I'm surprised they packed that much supplies with them.
They don't. They had supplies dropped off. Yeah, of course.
They rocketed some up.
Of course, they had drops. That's a space station, right? They were stuck on the International Space Station, right? ISS. Stuck on the space station, hurtling around space, tethered to Earth, kind of, right? Kind of a strange predicament to be in. And as far as I can see, it really looks like it was a political thing. This doesn't look like it was a technical problem that couldn't be figured out. It looked like a problem that was semi-simple to figure out with the great minds, the brilliant minds that we have nowadays leading our, rocket tech.
Yeah, it's hard to say what the heck was going on and why they didn't.
Oh yeah, it's hard to say.
Rescue those people immediately. But
definitely hard to say. But the only thing I could see is political.
I'm glad they're back.
Just got back.
Yeah. So for politics, yeah, I got something to say. All right, so we live here in the great state of Idaho, and I love Idaho.
Yes, we do.
But I have a beef with the politicians right now. They're doing some things that are not cool, and we're going to talk about it. All right, and
They constantly do stuff like that.
yeah, they're extremely extremely right. Which, I mean, it's great if you like guns and you like your freedoms, right? And for most part, but there's things that they don't want you to be free. It's not all free. It's the right isn't.
It's not all free.
It's not all free either.
That's true.
So yeah, I do have a beef with the Idaho politics. The Idaho Senate signed off on a proposal to amend the Constitution for the 2026 election, which I don't think they're going to get away with, because even though the politicians want to like totally take away any chance for us to legalize marijuana here forever, they really want to stranglehold us on this. It's crazy, and there's so much people going to Oregon, and I'm sure it drives them nuts. To get what they want. So, anyways, what they are proposing is only the Idaho legislature has the power to legalize what they consider any narcotics, and of course, cannabis is a narcotic, but they don't call it cannabis. They call it marijuana in their writings. All right, they never refer to it as cannabis, which is the proper term. So even their legal writings are not right.
I think they would classify it as tetrahydrocannabinol.
Yeah, right. No, they just call it marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, it's like it's 1937.
Yeah. We can't legalize marijuana, hemp, any of the stores, any of the produce, anything involved. And he who shall not be named has done this to us multiple times, like his failed policy about immigration here from other states and allowing them to exploit our way of life and system that we have here, which skyrocketed everything here without the infrastructure to do it. I don't agree on much of Guy Blow's policy, but he's kind of doing it anyways, and I think that he just pretty much has like the vote of the majority of people here, so it kind of just stays that way.
First blood has been drawn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, what else you got in politics?
Okay, so
are you relishing in your kill?
I'm still going off on this. All right, so Section 26, Article 3 of the Constitution of the State of Idaho be amended to provide that only the Idaho legislature shall have the power and authority to legalize the growing, now check this out, the growing, producing, manufacturing, transporting, selling, delivering, dispensing, administering, prescribing, distributing, possession, or using. So only the Idaho legislature can use marijuana in Idaho. At least according to this. I'm sure that's not the final thing, but it's kind of funny. Marijuana and or narcotics. And so I don't know, like, is marijuana a narcotic or not? When they just say narcotics, kind of funny. Or other psychoactive substances. So they don't like mushrooms or LSD. Right?
Yeah, of course they don't.
Or that ecstasy.
Nope.
Not that I've seen that around forever. Yeah. But who knows what the kids got their hands on nowadays. Apparently it's fentanyl, which is not as, I would say, definitely not as good having some good LSD. Yeah, like back in the
63,
70s and 60s and 70s, right?
It was the summer of 69.
So,
all right. Well, you got more on politics? You got to keep going, or what?
I'm going to keep on going. So, Senator Scott Grow, the Republican from Eagle, is the co-sponsor of this bill. Okay, I'm just going to say that, and you could look up his profile or whatever. You could just Google it, right? And it'll tell you how to contact this guy, and you could tell him what you think, and I certainly will. You could write him a letter. You could call him at his office. Apparently, there's an office number. So, anyways, I really think anyone that actually has opinions should start contacting the people that are responsible for these ridiculous proposals. that aren't doing any. Come on, there's a million things we could be doing other than trying to punish the people for smoking marijuana, which I'm sorry, still doesn't cause any deaths to this day. I could probably get on my smartphone and pull up
Yeah, snoogle it. Figure it out.
I could pull up and find out how many people has died this year.
We're going to, and we're going to post it on the screen.
Right? Yeah, we will.
Right now.
Right there. Okay.
All right. What more in politics do you got to say, dude? Do you got more?
I got more. No.
I'll give you one more.
No. So
you get one more.
Out. Not only did
one more,
not only did
also.
Senator Scott Grow co-sponsoring this, Governor Brad Little, he just signed. So yeah, $300 minimum fine for possession of any cannabis at all, or marijuana.
Correct.
As they like to call it.
Just had this talk the other day.
And that should be going into effect July 1st. That's when that goes into effect. So watch out for at the border if you're transporting. So yeah, we're back to 1937 where Harry Anslinger, he was responsible for outlawing marijuana. I don't know why we have to go over this over and over, but quite honestly, this is where it's at. When you are, and I hope a politician is listening to this, because when you are
they're not
making laws that the people support, all right, there's no one gets hurt from smoking marijuana. I don't care how hard you want to argue it. You're not going to prove it. This is the propaganda they were dealing with in 1937 when they outlawed this. All right, so I wrote this down. I took time to write this down. All right,
you wrote it down. Did you spell it correctly?
I hope I did. It's not really if I spelled it correctly. It's can I read
and pronunciate
it correctly without stuttering too much.
Almost just as important. I agree. Yeah, try to get it.
All right, where'd you go?
I'm not showing you. You need to be paying attention. I've been carrying you this whole game, telling you where I'm going.
You're so sneaky. Like when I'm talking, you're just like.
That's my fault. You can't multitask, my dude. That's not my fault, right? Is that my fault, camera? Or is that David's fault that he can't multitask? I don't think it's sneaky. You said let's play a game while we're podcasting, not let's play a game and every time I have to move, I want you to stop the camera so I can pay attention to what I'm doing. That's not what we said.
It's fight words.
Yeah, I know. Aikido me, mother clucker. I got your wrist today.
Shit. All right.
Okay, are you done with politics or do you got more in politics?
So, all right.
Do it while you think. Come on, 2 for 1. Politics.
Let me move. You just calm down there, sir.
That's wrong. That's the wrong move. Don't do it. Don't fall for it. That's wrong. Politics.
All right.
I mean, I got some stuff in politics.
Swoosh there. Okay.
That's not bad.
So this is a propaganda they were dealing in 1937, all right? This is what the Harry Anslinger guy was like spewing out to the news stations and newspapers, all right? By the tons, it is coming into this country. The deadly, dreadful poison that racks and tears not only at the body, but the very heart and soul of every human being who once becomes a slave to it in any of its cruel and disgusting forms. Marijuana is a shortcut to the insane asylum. Smoke marijuana cigarettes for a month, and what was once your brain will be nothing but a storehouse of horrid specters. Hashish. I love that. Hashish makes a murderer who kills for the love of killing out of the mildest mannered man. This is the stuff that was spewed out.
How eloquently spoken.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, I could see how it worked. I mean, the writers were really on point. For their propaganda. And so this is the kind of stuff that every time you make another rule or another law, you're like enforcing the evil this guy did to people, and people have suffered in prisons and jails, and quite honestly,
Excuse me, sir. Put the
should not
pencil
be.
down. Quit letting
No.
it distract you. You're getting distracted here. You got to move. You
Yeah.
got to talk.
Yeah.
You got to do all these
Okay.
things. Come
So-
on, get it together.
Okay, so it gets me riled up. Like, why are we like heading backwards? Why are you against the people that that are trying to legalize it? Obviously, these people are taking time out of their day. They're not like paid by some company. They're trying to do it because
They probably pay by tax dollars.
No. I actually
Tax dollars.
I helped for like a long time ago. It's probably like 8, 9, 10 years ago, something like that. Try to help get petitions, and I got hundreds and hundreds of signatures, and it was a great experience. It was fun. You know, we went out and I had to talk with all kinds of people, and they've been trying for every year ever since, unsuccessfully.
What a surprise. We've talked about this before. I believe it's the leadership and the style that they're trying to go at the establishment with. And here in Idaho, that ain't going to fly. Because as you know, we are a red state. We lean towards more conservative Christian values here. And I'd say most likely 9 out of 10 people, whether they believe in that or not, are not really willing to sway on that. Because they love the way that Idaho is, they love the way that the people are, and they love the way that it's been pretty much their whole life here.
You see, I don't know how marijuana has ever conflicted with religion.
Well, how about this? Let me give you an example. I think the point they're trying to make on the red side is look at California compared to here. California's on fire, full of criminals, and there's no end. That's correct.
Okay.
And Idaho is not that. Queen for queen, worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I don't love talking about politics. You want to keep going, or are you ready to get into world events?
All right. So, yeah, that's about it for me on politics. I'm like, you know, I love everything about Idaho except for their stance on marijuana policy, which, you know, I could live with, quite honestly. But it's really unfortunate because there's a lot of farming opportunities up here.
For hemp. Think about the hemp creek.
These guys could be making a ton.
Think about
money.
hemp. We're at prime land here. Think about, you remember the hemp bricks I showed you of people building houses with?
Oh, yeah.
Think about that. We could build the houses here instead of with wood from Canada.
They're almost unburnable.
You can't burn them.
And,
you cannot.
And I quite honestly, I think some places could use some unburnable houses.
Yeah, they sure could.
Yeah.
Not to name any names. California.
And other places, you know, but still, like, that's the kind of stuff that we need to be doing.
Agreed.
Instead of just building everything out of our
wood and steel, and then calling it illegal because it's a plant.
Yeah.
Quite silly.
They'll think of how to destroy you.
Yes. Good luck. It's your turn.
Ready for my next move here.
Do the next move, and I'll get into world events. Let's talk about these world events. What do you think about all the closing of businesses and the moving of the main offices out of, you know, let's say California, for example?
Well, I mean, it's...
In-N-Out Burger just moved out of California.
Did they? Totally?
Yeah, their home office.
Really?
Yeah, their executive branch. Gone. They're done with it, they say.
Well, I know California's regulations are just out of control. And that's why the businesses are fleeing, quite honestly. And people are fleeing because their taxes are out of control. And everyone that, if you're not like inheriting property, it's probably hard to get a piece of land without some outrageous loan from the bank that you are going to have problems paying off because, you know, just the minimum monthly payments are gigantor. It's hefty, right? So yeah, it's a tricky situation. I'm interested to see what happens with California. That Gavin Newstead dude, what a crazy guy.
Gavin Newsom?
Yeah, Gavin Newsom is a crazy guy.
Yep, can confirm. Did you hear about the executive order to shut down the Department of Education?
Yes, very interesting. I'm kind of not sure what I think about that because
that's strange, right?
For one, For one, I think that I don't think that the government being in charge of our education, especially the federal government, was a good thing, because do they teach everyone about how important the Constitution is and how important it is to protect your rights as a sovereign citizen of the United States?
I don't think so.
It's like one of the most important things you should think about, as it is what makes this country great.
I wonder if we pledge allegiance to the flag anymore in school. You remember we used to do that in school? Do you think they still do it?
God, I would like to say they do, but I don't know if they do.
I'm curious if they do a pledge of allegiance in the morning when you get to school.
I have to ask my kids. Right, my son is almost out of high school. That's kind of crazy.
Well, while you're thinking about it, you make your move here.
Oh,
what do you got? What are you cooking up?
I'm making my moves.
You got anything?
I'm making my moves.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe you. You lost your queen. You never want to lose your queen.
No. You lost your queen.
We, sir, we.
What is this?
It's a shite move. That's what it is.
Is it now?
All right.
Yeah, what do we got for local businesses, Chad?
Well, I think we ought to talk about the Rev. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yep, the Revolution.
Rev it up.
The Revolution. I think they used to be the Big Easy. I think it was the same owners, because all the guitars that were at the Big Easy are now at the Revolution. So I think they kind of transferred over there after Kneading Factory bought that place, and then they fired up the Rev, which is a great venue. It's another. It's a little bit roomier than a Knit.
We've seen Gojira there a couple times.
Yep, and they have a little bit more room for production value, and a little bit more people, but still small enough that everywhere you are is still pretty close. It's not like going over to the Fort Idaho Center and you could be like a mile back and you're just like watching the band on the big screen, basically.
Full disconnect.
Yeah, it's almost like, why am I even here?
Yeah, the Rev is a little more personal. I do like it for that. Also, I like where, it shoots off and gives you the vendors selling merch for you.
Yep.
Love that little part.
Yeah, it was a really well thought out little area. The bar is great. Yep,
agreed. We like the Rev. That's a great local business. We shouted them out our last podcast. We'll shout them out again. And we would love to see Demu Borgia.
Yeah, right. Yeah, bring the Demu Borgia.
We want to see him now.
For local business is the Rev. The Rev is our one this podcast.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Okay, ask a question. What do you got? Deviate outside of the list here and don't be one-dimensional. Ask a question, make it good.
Oh, ask a question. Okay, what is your favorite knife?
Ooh, I love OTFs.
Yeah?
Right, OTFs are sweet. It seems like the only OTF blades you can get, though, are like 2 or 3 inches.
Now, for the people that don't know what you're talking about, what is an OTF?
Well, for the California compliant people and the New York compliant people,
Exactly.
This is a out the front knife where you essentially take the safety off, trigger control, you click a button and it shoots right out of the handles, right?
Yeah.
Essentially any shooting knife you've ever seen
Sort of
operates this way.
Sort of like my wife's pink little knife.
There you go, right? OTF.
And
yep.
I bought her one of these, and this is a small one. Mine, a little bit bigger.
Now, is that California compliant?
No.
Can you carry that in the subway?
They will arrest me forever.
Okay,
so yeah, I got my wife a smaller one, and she loved it so much she has like 2 more. And so I was like, oh, you must have really liked that knife.
Everybody does. So let me ask you this question then. What is the difference between that and a knife where you just flick it and it swoops out? What is the difference that differentiates that legality of saying this knife which flips out at 0.6 seconds is legal, but the knife that flips out in 0.2 seconds is not legal?
All right, so here's one of the things. Having the one-handed open and close is really freeing. If I am doing anything, and I usually when you have to cut something, you have something in your hand, you have to hold it, right? And then you have to pull out, you're like, oh, I have to cut it. So you have to pull out your knife, and if it's a side opener, you have to flick it out. Sometimes you have to do it with 2 hands if it's stiff. With the OTF, you're literally just pull it out. You're like, dink, cut it, put it back, throw it in your pocket.
To business and back to business.
Yeah, it's really, really ergonomic.
It is. Now, tell me this. On the job site, we'd be working. How handy would this knife be to you on everyday as well as job?
Well, on my job, I use it quite a bit.
So do we on job sites.
Yep. And
Cutting plastic, cutting Tyvek. We're sharpening a pencil. We're doing all kinds of things that require a sharp knife.
of course, the knife I have is a Microtech, which is one of the best, if not the best, of the OTF knife makers. And there's a few really good brands, but I'm a really big fan of these guys because it's quality. And
Seems quality made. Heavy steel, right? It's not some light plastic piece of junk.
I don't believe California is the only place where you can't carry these.
Oh no, it's not. I'm just making fun of California.
We live in Idaho, and so we can enjoy these things. We could also buy lots of things to go pew pew.
That is true. If you're legal, you can. Most definitely. Idaho has its perks.
I assume you're legal if you're here, right?
I doubt it. There's probably a lot of felons here and a lot of people who can't.
So, yeah, I love Idaho. The people here are great.
Everybody loves Idaho.
They just don't know it.
No, everybody knows.
When you come here, you're just like, what's going on? This place is...
Have you ever been to the South?
I have been to
In the South,
Michigan.
They sell potatoes in stores, wrapped individually, and they call it Idaho potatoes.
Oh, really?
And they are expensive.
That's funny.
Yes. Everybody knows Idaho, and everybody loves Idaho.
So...
That's wrong.
So when I was in Hawaii, I believe this was at the Big Island, we went to a restaurant and it said "Real Idaho Steak."
Yeah, we have a lot of cattle here.
And I thought that was hilarious. I go all the way to Hawaii and they're like "Real Idaho Steak." I'm like, no, I want that real Hawaiian seafood. And we had calamari, and it was like the best calamari I've had in my life.
Yeah, I believe it.
It was so tender and it was delicious.
I believe it. We definitely have a ton of steak here, ton of cows. We have our red and black Angus. They are all over. Tons of farms here. But, dude, I think it's time to call it quits. Let's stop right there. If you want to move, you can, and it'll be my turn next time, and I get to start the show. Or we could stop right here, and you get to go next show, and you start. Pick your poison, my dude.
I guess we are done.
Yeah, you're done jibber jabbering. Nobody wants to hear it. You're over. It's done. It's almost tied.
The game will have to continue on to the next episode.
Correct. So we could say peanut butter peace out, or we could do another move. You decide.
All right. Did you make a move? Is it my go?
Well, that's why it's either your turn or you go and it's my turn next time.
Okay. All right. So we'll just continue this game next time.
Okay. Here's where it's at.
On the Creatures Cortex podcast.
That is correct.
Yep.